So let's talk about unnecessary spending for a second. And the reason why I want to do this is because the US government is notorious for spending on things that we really don't need to spend money on. For instance, let me just give you an example because this article came out earlier on today. It says 1 in 3 US households utilize Biden administration's free at-home COVID tests. It's from the CDC. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because in this article, and we're not going to go read this whole article, but I want to show you a couple key points in this. It says right here, the report found that 32.1% of households surveyed between April and May of 2022 had used the government test kits. Just under 60% of households ordered the test, and about 94% were aware of the program, according to the CDC. So it says just under 60% of households ordered the test. Now, the reason why I want to talk about unnecessary spending is not because of the test in general, but because of what the Biden administration did. Now, in the initial stages, I believe you could get like 4 or 5 tests per household. I ordered some, okay? And just to give you an idea, I ordered some tests and I got, I think it was like 10 tests. Again, keep in mind, I didn't order 10. I ordered like 4 or 5. They sent 10. And then, as the time progressed and, months went by, I get another box at my door. And this box didn't just have a couple, COVID tests in it. This box was completely full. Big box. Okay, big box. There's probably 25 to 30 tests in this box. Guess what? I never used a single one of those. Those expired. That's what happened. Those expired. And they didn't come to me expired. They expired because it took so long. Yeah, I couldn't use that many tests for what? Right? But again, I still had the test from the initial time that they sent out the test. This was a complete waste of money to send out additional tests to somebody that is not requesting them. And not just to send out, again, I have a family of 5, and they send me 25 to 30 tests in a big old box. I didn't use a single one of those. Didn't stop there. Then months later, probably 3 or 4 months later, I get another box. Bigger box. This one probably had 50, maybe 60 tests. This box was easily 2 times the size of the other one. There might have been more than 50 or 60 tests. Guess what? I didn't use another one of those. Didn't use a single one. You know why? I still had tests from the other one. And again, never need to take them. I was completely fine. So, just to give you an idea, and I don't know how much a test cost, but I don't know how much a test costs to ship either, but I would assume it's not free. So, just that alone is just unnecessary spending. The reason why I bring this up is because one of the things that we have heard from Republicans is that we need to limit unnecessary spending or duplicative programs. Well, it looks like that is going to happen. Now, I do also want to go over some of the key provisions from the Republicans' debt bill. Okay, you can see it right here. It says House Republicans are moving quickly to pass a 320-page bill to raise the debt limit next week, which includes a host of proposals leaders claim would result in more than $4 trillion in savings. The expectation is to be about $4.5 trillion. Now, it says here are a few of the proposals that made the cut. First off, we have budget caps. What are going to be the budget caps? Well, it says the bill seeks to impose limits on the government funding hashed out by lawmakers annually as part of the appropriations process. Yes, there will be limits. They are going to put limits into the federal funding bill. This is the one that has to be passed before the end of September. The other one, right here, the measure would revert funding for fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2022 levels. That means we would see decreases. This includes things like SNAP. This includes affordable housing. This includes stuff for education. All these things will get reverted back. Again, that also means there could be additional layoffs if we've hired people to fill certain positions, and now those positions don't have any funding. Those positions would then go away. So we would see that, but also it would limit spending growth to 1% annually over the next 10 years. Again, this is something that Democrats are not wanting. Now, I want to be very clear on something. I don't think this exact proposal is going to pass the Senate. I honestly don't even think it's going to hit the floor. It will pass the House. Republicans will put pressure on Democrats. They will tell the media that, well, we passed the bill. It's sitting there. They just need to pass it. They just need to vote on it, and it's never going to get done. This is part of this back and forth that we always see within Congress. But that's here nor there. That is what we're going to see. Now, here's another big one. This is something that President Biden is not looking forward to, but student loans. Republicans are using the debt limit bill to try to roll back several Biden administration actions on student loans, including the ongoing loan repayment pause and a sweeping plan to provide widespread forgiveness. This right here is one that's already in question simply because it's currently in the Supreme Court. They're the ones that will vote on that one or determine what happens there. The other one is this repayment plan pause. Right now, all student loans are paused. You don't have to make payments. You just sit here and wait, and maybe your loan will be forgiven. If not, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see when those repayments have to start. And right now, I can tell you that the American people who do have student loans, they're not saving that money. That money isn't sitting aside waiting to be paid. No, they're using that money to live, pay for food and rent and utilities and all these other things that have increased in cost. But again, when that student loan, when that payment comes due, there's going to be millions and millions of households that are going to struggle because they won't be able to afford it. This article also says, and this article is from The Hill, says the bill also targets an income-driven repayment plan rolled out by the Education Department earlier this year that could lower the cost of monthly bills. And that is true. It's based on your income. Okay? The payment that you make would be based on your income. A big one is right here, work requirements. It says the bill would beef up work requirements for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is also known as SNAP or food stamps, for those between the ages of 50 and 56 years old, and includes work requirements for Medicaid. This is huge, okay? Again, let me read it one more time. This bill would beef up work requirements for the SNAP program for those between the ages of 50 and 56. Okay, that's big. If you have to go and do certain things, you have to show that yes, I'm working this many hours, whatever. It could be difficult for some people that are over the age of 50. And it also says there are also changes proposed to the temporary assistance for needy families programs. Now, there's going to be a lot of changes here. Just want to be very upfront with you guys. There's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of people expect we are going to see many changes. We are not expecting to see a big overhaul of any program, though. But we are going to see changes. And the reason why we're going to see changes, one of the biggest reasons, is because Republicans say that we are spending money needlessly and, again, on duplicative programs. That's what's happening. And again, I talked about this before, where over the past 20 years, we have spent $2.5 trillion in just wasteful spending. And one of those things, again, and I bring it up because of this article right here that, again, just came out earlier on today, but when it says 1 in 3 U.S. households utilize Biden administration's free at-home COVID test, well, I know for a fact I used, I think, 1 or 2 tests. That was it. That was all I used. And again, the Biden administration spent billions of dollars on COVID funding. There's still billions of dollars left. There's still, I believe, according to the rough estimates, there's about $100 billion left. And this is what Republicans are wanting to try to claw back. And so right now, the expectation is Republicans are going to have a little bit more power than Democrats at this time. And it's because Republicans want to see cuts. They want to see changes. They want to see savings for the American people, right? But also for themselves, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, as we see savings, as we see a reduction in expenses, right, in these costs from our federal budget, guess what? Democrats have to give Republicans that because Republicans are currently threatening that if you do not do this, we're not going to vote for that debt ceiling increase. And that's the biggest thing, most pressing issue at this time. So, Just wanted to fill you in on what's going on. But again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.